Welcome to Shomach Shov on the Daf. Your sponsor, Louis Nishmas, I'm Yakov, Leah Basitzchok. We're holding Basra Daf Kuf Chov Gimel. This Daf, there's so much to talk about, and it's very nuget to many of the parshias of the Torah that we're about to learn. We'll focus here on one nekuda. The Gemara in the end of Amud Aleph tells us the tremendous story of how Rachel gave this simonim to Leah. She gave over the passcode that Yakov Avinu gave her in order for Leah not to be embarrassed, and that's why Yosef was zoichet to get back the Bechorah. Now the big tema, the many of the Mefarshim ask, is that we find in Sefer Bereshis that when Reuven brings the dudoim me'asod, he brings these plants called dudoim, he brings this to his mother Leah, and Rachel tells her, "Can you please give it to me because dudoim help a woman to be able to have kids?" Says Leah to Rachel, "Hamehat kachtech es ishi, lakachas gam dudoim bni." You took away my husband because he loves you more than me. And you want to take also my dudoim? That's the sentence that Leah tells Rachel. And everybody's bothered by it. Look at what happened here. Without Rachel, Leah would never marry Yaakov Avinu. She should say thank you to Leah for letting her marry Yaakov. And now she's coming and telling Rachel, Me'at kachtech es ishi, you took away my husband? How can you understand such a thing? So some want to say that maybe Leah never knew that Rachel did such a sacrifice. Some bring that what did Rachel teach Leah? What was the simonim? What was the passcode that Yaakov taught Rachel? It wasn't just a code b'alma. It was the halachas of Nido, Shabbos, Frashas Chalo. Yaakov told Rachel the halachas that a Bas Yisrael needs to know. So when Leah wanted to go marry Yakov, so Rachel told her, you should know, let me teach you what the halachas you need to know. She didn't tell her that was a passcode between Yakov and Rachel, and Leah never knew such a thing. But this explanation does not work with the Medrash Eicho says clearly that when Yakov was with Leah, Rachel was under the bed, and every time Yakov asked a question to Leah, Rachel answered. It's a little hard for us to imagine that, but that is what the Medrash tells us. So clearly from the Medrash, Leah knew exactly what happened. So what's pshat in this thing? Niri Loimar, an answer that we printed now in a sefer we just put out, the Ma'anei Cheskel, on Sefer Bereshis. And this is based on the Leshem in Hagdamas HaShaharim, who speaks about these inyonim from a different angle, and is negat to this point. And the big yesod is that anything major that happened to Klal Yisrael, anything huge that happened, is not a mikra, it's not a coincidence. It's something which was planned, which that's how it's supposed to be. When we know that there's shalosh shloisha avos v'arba imois, you think it's a coincidence that there's arba imois? Yaakov was supposed to marry Rachel, but he ended up marrying Leah, so instead of being 3 imois, there was 4 imois? Obviously not. Every one of these numbers has in it a meaning, has in it a amkus, lifnimi amkus. Echad, the same way you know, the echad Elokeinu is one, and it's echad yochadim yuchad. And the luchos are 2, because as we know, is divided into 2, but on the makar, on the chaveroi. There's gimel avos, so the 3 midas elyonos, and the arba imois is the way this thing appears in the world, it has to be divided by 4. It was supposed to be 4 imois. It was supposed to be also Leah and also Rachel. And this is in general, every big event that happens to Klal Yisrael is something which is planned. It's not a coincidence that it happens this way. The fact that Leah married Yakov, that is not a coincidence. That is davar which was supposed to be. Yaakov was supposed to marry Leah at some stage, at some point. How exactly that will be misgalgal, how that exactly that will work out, that's something we don't really know. The Arizal mentions that Yaakov has two parts to him. There's a Yaakov and there's a Yisrael. It's 2 different levels. And the lower part, Yaakov marries Rachel, belongs to Rachel. And the higher part, Yisrael, belongs to Leah. Yaakov reached the level of Yisrael only later in his life. Maybe later in his life he was supposed to marry Leah. We don't know exactly how it would work out. But the fact that Yaakov married Leah is not a coincidence. Rachel was megalgal through her schus that she brought upon that Leah's marriage happened the way it happened. If Rachel wouldn't have done it, it would happen a different way. But Rachel assisted it to happen this specific way. So you may understand very clearly. Leah tells Rachel, you're not the one who caused me to marry Yakov. That was something that was supposed to be Mishesh Mebereshis. Yes, you helped. You being Moisa the Simonim. So you gave up on your called right to be first. And who knows how I would marry Yaakov at the end of the day. What HaKadosh Baruch Hu would have to be misafer for that to happen. But it wasn't because of you, it was only through you. So therefore Rachel is zoiche to schar gadol for that. But it's not because of Rachel that Yaakov is marrying Leah. So Leah could tell Rachel, we're supposed to be married to Yaakov, and you're taking all his attention. I do have a taina against you. And don't tell me, without me you would not be married to Yaakov. I would be married to Yaakov anyway. You just assisted for that to happen. So that's gavaldik, you should get rewarded for that. But you're still taking away my husband. And just to conclude this Nekuda, what we see in this daf, the Gemara is telling us, the prayer was supposed to be originally by Rachel. Then it moved to Leah. Then it moved back to Rachel, each one because of their maisim. And according to the Malach, what we're saying is, the major inyanim of Am Yisrael, who's going to marry Yaakov, how many most will be, that's predetermined. But then in the details, who's going to be the B'chor, who will not be the B'chor, that's something which depends on each one's maisim and all the details that will happen. Anyone who wants to join the Shomach Shava email list to Hotsko, please email shomachshava@gmail.com.